morning, everyone.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Prayer today, Holy Spirit, I ask you for clear and specific direction in my life, family, and ministry henceforth. As the year is coming to an end, please show me the areas I need to invest my strength, sow seeds of love, and take steps of faith for the glory of God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jim.
On December 22nd, I approved, among other items, a transfer from Common Pleas to True Up Medicare account to the end of the year, a supplemental de-appropriation for liability self-insurance, hotel motel excise tax, sewer water debt retirement, and county sewer improvements funds for year-end adjustments, cash transfers from the general fund to the liability self-insurance fund for payments of insurance deductibles, a voucher for year-end payments from JFS to various vendors that had to be processed after the morning session, and a revenue certification from the Commissioner's Office for money received in 2020 in the Liability Self-Insurance Fund and the Auditor's Office for COVID relief funds returned from the townships.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. You got the CARES sub-grant agreement. Good morning. How are you?
Morning. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
How you doing, Chuck?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Okay. So I sent all this stuff out. Chuck and I have been diligently working on this for about 10 days. And Paul Harris is here from
Hi,
the
Paul.
fair. So the fair did a great job putting all of this together, and you know what Paul did. If you look at there's a spreadsheet kind of on the top of everything that we prepared.
We're going to go through it line by line.
Yeah, I'm going to go through every invoice.
All 85
All
pages?
85.
Oh, Troy, thank you.
We did, so you are.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
did, no.
So, yeah, so Paul put this packet together, and you know they submitted 178,528.29 as potential reimbursements under a potential sub-grant. And I went through them, Chuck reviewed what I did, and there were a few items that we felt were a little, fell outside the grant guidelines. They had some salaries for administrative staff. There's some federal guidance that discourages that. So we tried to err on the side of caution. But, I know that we've gone over this, but when you look at what the fair had to deal with, which was, and I attached to Paul's letter that order. I mean, July 30th, the state dropped a 10-page order on them, and if you read through that, I mean, it just subjected the fair to some very onerous requirements, which they actually stepped up and met. Surprisingly, I had a feeling when the state issued the order, they kind of thought a lot of people would throw up their hands and just walk away this year. But to Paul's credit, he didn't do that. And they had expended quite a few funds before that July 30th date, planning on a full fair, and then their kind of world was turned upside down, and then they incurred further costs. So going through all the expenses they incurred that they submitted to us, I came up with a number, I think Chuck agrees with that, I'll let him talk on it, was $156,646.17. So I prepared a sub-grant, Paul executed that, Chuck's office signed off on it, I signed off on it, so there'd be a sub-grant agreement, but you're kind of doing this all at once because...
We are literally deadline. I mean, we're T-minus 24 hours, so our people have been working late hours, Jim's people have working late hours. I give Jim a lot of credit. He and Paul worked together very closely to only submit items that were completely legitimate, and I'm very comfortable with what they agreed to and what we ultimately are going to approve. The fact of the matter is, I think we spent the majority of our funds, which was about $4.6 million, on county-related expenditures. This is a very small percentage, obviously, and there's still residual left. So we just ran out of time, quite frankly. I understand now that the president signed the Relief Act to be extended for another 12 months on Sunday, but now the governor has not yet signed it. So we're still in a holding pattern. So there were people that were calling my office as recently as yesterday saying, can I still buy that car? I can't. I mean, 24 hours before the deadline date, I can't commit to a car. So I think we should consume all the money we can in the time that we have left. And if we don't, we're going to surrender it to the feds, and who knows what the feds will do with it. I mean,
Send it to Pakistan.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, give it to Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I don't know what they would do, and I think we are better spenders of that money than they are, and it's debated, we've debated those issues ad nauseum, I think.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of credit goes to Jim and his staff. This was not something that either of us anticipated having to do. We thought we would shut down at the end of November,
Right.
like we normally do. We're still paying bills through today, which is totally unusual, and I'm probably not the most popular person right now in the auditor's office, because they're looking at this going, you agreed to do it, So, but we want to make the best of it if we can.
Yeah, I reviewed this last night, and I'm comfortable as well. I mean, a lot of these expenses, and to what you just said it exactly, Jim, is, a lot of these hoops were thrown at us like last second, and we jumped through them.
Yeah.
And none of them, they're not for free, these hoops, right? A lot of this was cost incurred, prior to any of that, even knowing we were going to get reimbursed or whatever. I think that, even just talking with Paul prior, this was something that we were willing to go down that road with the county just to keep the fair going, whatever it took, basically. But unlike some other expenditures I've seen come through, I am comfortable with all this stuff. I think this is, very much so related to a public health crisis, and these were steps that were needed to be taken. So. I'm also comfortable with all that.
And I guess just to add to that, 2020 has definitely been a challenging year, but I got to tell you, from the prosecutor's office to the auditor's office to the fair, they took on a huge, challenge, and it's so comforting to see, the amount of coordination and the way that everybody worked together through this. Having limited resources as far as available people, and it just, I'll be honest, I've had a number of conversations with Jim on the phone over these things, and the communication has always been there, and it's been, no surprises, and it's been always, I'll be honest, it's a situation where we're just proud to be involved with some of the, you guys and your employees, and just how this whole thing has worked out for the benefit of the taxpayers, not just today, but moving forward with some of the decisions I think that we've made that's going to ultimately, impact our county in a positive way. And I thank you very much for putting the effort and all the communications that you guys had of endless hours of updates and everything. And Paul, to the fair and to the fair board, and you guys did an incredible job. I know for a fact that there are some fairs in the state that their boards have been shattered because of personality conflicts with the whole situation happening also. And just to see that we were a cut above the rest, and that there was, that we were able to work. And I was at the fair every day this year, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't have the fair feeling, but something, those kids still had smiles on their faces and everything, and I applaud you guys 1,000%. So,
Well, a lot of credit, I appreciate that, Ralph. I think a lot of credit does go to everybody in the county.
yeah,
Departments cooperated. They weren't always happy,
Yeah, yeah.
and we all get that, right? We all have our moments where the stress gets to you. But overall, even departments participating in it, they got it. At the
Yeah.
11th hour, we had to cancel some orders because we couldn't get it
Sure.
in time. And they did it. They weren't necessarily happy about it, but, and Adrian, as late as I think the email went out from Ron at 6:30 last night,
yeah.
that we had the final numbers. Adrian, accepted those, and we appreciate that. We know that, your staff also wants things in a timely manner. And in this particular situation, we weren't always able to accommodate that.
Yeah.
I want to thank the auditor, Chuck and Jim, for working so hard on this, and not only that, these two guys put classes together for the townships, for the fair board, everything else, on how to handle the CARES Act and the sub-grants. And they did an excellent job where all the municipalities and the townships capitalized on it to the best that they could. And it just shows a true testament that Geauga County and its people fight back. I mean, no matter what was thrown at the fair board, they handled it. They figured it out. They didn't hide under the bed and say, well, it was me. They fought back, and today we're going to be reimbursing them for their hard work and the things that they did to put on a smaller version of the fair. So, thanks.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and real quick, I mean, with talking about the townships and the education component, I mean, I helped Chuck with that, but Chuck spearheaded that. I mean, he created a page on the county website. There's a video we did on there. He actually has a better resource page on the county website than the state has on their website, in my opinion.
Well,
So,
of course, I did all the coding too. I did all the work. And we know that doesn't happen.
but they really did put together a nice resource that I know other counties have used and other townships
Yeah.
and other counties have used.
Well, I think the testament to it is of the villages, of the city and the townships, we only had one township who did not take their COVID money.
It was Aquila.
Aquila.
Aquila
Oh, sorry,
Village.
one
Yeah,
one
that was the
village.
only entity that
And-
didn't use the
And
COVID.
all of them encumbered 100% of all of their money.
Nice.
Great.
That's very unusual. I mean, I heard horror stories from other auditors where they're getting back 80% of their money because people just said it's too much work. It's just too much work, we'll just give it back. I mean, that's not really true to the taxpayer, right?
Right.
We're here to work.
Right.
It was, though, I mean, if you're a little town, it is overwhelming. I mean, that's where that education component Chuck spearheaded. Because you look at this, I mean, you should see the federal regs on this and the questions and answers and the guidance. I mean,
Well,
it's
I think the
nuts.
Hail Mary pass was, and I think Jim worked with Jerry real closely on this, is being able to shift some of this money to offset safety force salaries. That was a godsend, and I think it will save the county money, and it saved every township money.
Sure.
Everybody has that cost. So that, I think, is a very legitimate expense. It's very well deserved of those entities, and I'm happy to see that was put to really good use. I think we captured all of our money because of that.
Yeah, and to that point, that's item number 3, so we can hang out for that
Yep.
last part. But item 2, what you're doing is you're approving the sub-grant and then approving the expenses under so we're kind of in one step. Okay, we're going to enter into a sub-grant agreement and then pay out this money under the sub-grant agreement for these legitimate COVID expenses.
Okay.
So the total amount of the payout that was approved is $156,646.17. And that will come from, that was already set aside when I got early warning that we were anticipating doing this. We set that aside under under other category, and that's where we're drawing it from.
When he says early warning, he means like 4 o'clock
It was-
yesterday.
Yeah, it was actually early yesterday.
That's cool.
All right, do you want to read the?
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the CARES Act sub-grant agreement between the Geauga County Board of County Commissioners and the Geauga County Agricultural Society in the amount of $156,646.17, and further approve purchase order 2020-4588 in the amount of $9,146.17, and purchase order 2020-4589 in the amount of $147,500.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner Delaware?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Levesey?
Aye. Okay, very good.
And then item 3, real quick. So this was actually, we had always talked about moving the safety force money, or moving whatever remaining money there was in the end, just taking a safety force reimbursement. But this was actually, Chuck's idea was to put in the resolution just the unexpended amount. So we don't have an amount specific in this resolution. If you remember the last time,
There was a specific number.
there was this, yeah, and what we're doing is we're zeroing out the account as of 4:30 today, according to the resolution. And then the remaining dollars, which I think Chuck, now that you've
I
passed
have
this,
it.
okay, yeah, what is?
Yeah, so the remaining amount as of 7 o'clock last night is $328,361.86. So that amount will go into the general fund to be used for safety force salaries, which is timely because Friday's payday, right? We're on another pay schedule. So we're going to be able to assign that to the total cost of salaries regardless of whether we're spending it on this pay period or not. So that will zero all of the accounts. We have done an appropriation transfer of all of the residual numbers and all of the line items into the salaries fund, so that when we get audited, the auditor can simply look at that one line item and see the total amount we've allocated to safety forces. I just think that's the cleanest way of doing it. I wish we could have done that on every transaction. Time didn't allow that, but that's what we were doing late last night, is figuring out how much to move in from each category.
And we didn't come to realize that we were able to do this until when? Maybe just a few weeks ago,
month-
right?
No, I think October,
Oh,
there
really?
was, well,
Okay.
October,
They
there was
released the
a,
thing October 1st.
yeah, it was October, but then.
There was debate, but the language kept changing. They kept changing a certain set of sentences,
Mhm.
which seemed to contradict each other. So Jim and I kept saying, are you reading this? Because I'm not reading it that way. And then our auditors would weigh in, and I'm sure other prosecutors were weighing in, and it just wasn't as clean until the very end when we said, it appears to be clean now.
Yeah.
What
It makes more
happened,
sense.
the feds changed, the Department of Treasury changed their guidance, and then the state changed their guidance, but the state guidance was not clear.
No, it
And-
was reinterpreted.
And we went back and forth on that for like a month, and it was very uneasy. So I think that caused such an uproar. Actually, a lot of the guidance we get is the Treasury will release frequently asked questions. So they're getting bombarded with questions, and they take the questions they get the most, and they
Mhm.
publish them. The Department of Treasury will publish the question and then their answer, and we're relying upon their answer as guidance.
Okay.
I see.
So they issued an update to their FAQs after, and then the state, actually, Chuck harassed the guy at the state to such an extent because they wouldn't commit on the safety force thing. And he kept bombarding them, and finally the guy said, I mean, we actually have an email from the guy that we have in our audit trail
Yeah,
to say, hey, he said we could, OBM said we could do this.
and I didn't get a Christmas card from him.
No,
No.
he's not a fan of our county, but that's
No.
okay. All we needed him to do was,
Give
we
us an
just
answer.
wanted to feel 100% sure about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't want to, you don't want to ship that money to safety forces, do it the wrong way, and then,
Yeah.
a year from now, they say, well, hey, if you give us $1 million back.
That's right. No, that's,
So-
you guys were very thorough, and that's good. I'm sure there's probably some other cases out there where it wasn't
Oh,
so. you
I can
know.
only imagine.
Yeah,
There's people building buildings.
yeah. Well,
It's frightening.
I've heard some good ones, not so good ones, I guess. Yeah.
So this is just a way of you taking the remaining funds and transferring them to the general fund as a reimbursement, because you could use them to offset the cost that you've spent
Very
on
good.
safety forces.
Great.
I like
Okay.
that.
All right. So why don't we read that motion with the new figure included?
So I have the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 20-183 of acceptance approving CARES Act expenditures. And I have $328,361.86. Is that correct? Okay.
Sorry, how late I did.
That's okay. I just want to make sure I wrote down what you had said.
I so move.
Second.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner
All
Lambert?
right.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank
Hope
you.
you guys have a
Thank
happy
you.
new
That's
year.
awesome. Yep, me
Okay.
too.
Definitely, thank you to both of you.
Take care. No, thanks.
Pushing just through at the end like you did.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't easy.
It's okay.
You guys are gonna be bored in 2021. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I'm sure Biden will just do another, whatever.
Another couple $1 million.
Print more money.
No strings attached.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get that email I sent you about the vaccine thing?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna, after I got
Okay.
done with this.
I know you've been busy with this. So,
Yeah, I'll work on it. I'll
Okay.
look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Take
Yeah.
care, guys.
Have a good day.
See ya.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Adrian.
So today's financials include a transfer and supplementals from the auditor, MRDD, and Water Resources to true-up account balances in various funds for the end of the year. Cash transfer is from MRDD fund to the residential fund for client service expenses, as well as the cash transfer that we were speaking about from the coronavirus relief fund to the sheriff's office for $328,361.86 in accordance with your resolution 20-184 for the CARES Act, or is that 183? 183. It's entered in the they entered it in here as 2184, so.
Okay, just so you're clear, just for clarification, the resolution of acceptance does not include the 156, 646, 17. It is only
Right.
strictly the
Right.
safety.
Yeah, that's
purchase.
among the vouchers, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, please, thank you.
Okay, and then, to that point, the vouchers include 156,646.17 from the Coronavirus Relief Fund to the Geauga County Agricultural Society for CARES Act sub-grant expenses incurred as a result of the pandemic, and in accordance with your resolution of, well, not, in accordance with the sub-grant agreement. And then there are revenue decertifications from MRDD and Water Resources for money that will not be received in 2020 in their residential services fund. And Water Resources moved some money around within the Water Resources fund.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you. Any questions, comments?
Nope, I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Lynn?
Aye.
Thank you very
Excellent.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nick, morning.
Morning.
Get some Ohio Public Works.
Yeah, this is requesting the board approve and authorize Commissioner Lennon to execute disbursement request number 2 and final for the Caves Road resurfacing project in Russell and Chester Township in the amount of $117,829.40, and we'll just close out this contract.
Good, good. Yeah,
We've
they did-
already signed the change order to set the final contract amount on.
Excellent.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Ms. Blair, could you scan that back to me?
Yes.
And then I can get it into them before the end of the year. Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, have a good
Thanks,
day.
Nick. All right, aging. Morning.
Good morning, how you doing?
Good, good.
Okay.
Good, good.
That was me from last week.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one of the,
So the Department on Aging is here today asking that the board execute the agreement between the commissioners and the village of Middlefield for the Middlefield Village Senior Center 2-year lease.
okay.
There's been no rent increase, and even though the senior centers are not open, that's still one of our home delivered meal
Mhm.
sites with approximately 55 meals going out a day. We're still working on the requirement of the physician's order for the COVID testing in order to reopen the senior center.
That's one of your main kitchens over there, correct? Where you
Yes,
do all the
one of them.
cooking?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And the village owns that building?
Yes.
Or- Yeah, okay. Very good.
And we've been there several years.
Oh, yeah.
And no rent increase, which we thought was really good.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
very
All
you.
much.
right. Have a happy new year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yes.
All right, Water Resources. Morning, morning. How are
doing,
you?
Kathleen?
Morning.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute change order number 3, increasing the contract with Workman Industrial Services Incorporated for the Auburn Corners wastewater treatment plant expansion and Troy Oaks pump station upgrade to eliminate the asphalt paving at the Troy Oaks site, which is a reduction, and modify the fence to enable better access, which is an increase, resulting in increase in the amount of $2,916.13.
Okay, very good. Motion, please.
I make that motion?
Second?
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Have a
You
good
too.
New
Thank you
Year.
very much.
All right, that one.
So this is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute resolution number 20-185, appointing Eric Fink to the Northeast Ohio Community Alternative Program, NeoCap, Facilities Governing Board to fill the unexpired term of Aaron J. Hebner? Okay. Just real quick, Eric Fink, I'm not familiar with him, or I don't know, is this anybody, where did this request come from?
It came actually from the Cheryl Moran, who's the administrative secretary from actually NeoCap. She sent a letter out, and I forwarded the email to all of you, requesting to appoint Mr. Fink as Mr. Hebner had resigned. in November. Mr. Fink is an attorney in Kent. He specializes in criminal and.
Okay. I guess my question
It's
is.
just a partial term.
Mhm.
The appointment is only through the unexpired term of Mr. Hagner, which is only through November of '21.
Yeah, so, sometimes I'm a little, uncomfortable making, appointing people that I absolutely have no idea who they are or really who's, imploring this or where this is coming from. I don't know. Maybe I'm not, I don't know if you guys have some more information for me. I don't know who this is or what.
Yeah, they sent us
Yeah.
they had the position, and that's kind of the board's recommendation is this, the
Yeah.
NeoCap board's recommendation is this
Yeah.
guy.
Apparently, he's a partner attorney and counselor at James Silver and Eric Fink Attorneys at Law. So
Yeah.
he's a partner.
But I mean, how is he a factor representing, say, Geauga County or, I just,
It's a joint board.
okay.
It's a joint board
Yeah.
with Lake, Portage,
Like, why can't we get a
Trouble.
Geauga County attorney representing us on that? Right?
Yeah, I'm not comfortable moving forward with it myself personally, but until I have some more information,
Okay, we can table it.
You can contact, I'll give you Ms. Moran's contact information and you can talk.
Just to have a better understanding.
I'd have to go back and look at it, but I think this is one of those boards where the individual board members aren't necessarily from specific counties, but they have to
Okay.
be approved by all
Yes.
counties, commissioners.
I see.
For that.
Because we're in
person
a
to be on the
joint
board,
with,
so- Yeah.
So do we
So
have
it's
anybody
not like-
representing, from Geauga represented in there?
I honestly do not know. I'd have to look and see
So-
who's on.
Let's research
who's
it.
on that
So-
NeoCap.
I guess, all right, let me just read this real quick. So Northeast Ohio Community Alternative Program was established by the Common Pleas judges of Portage, Geauga, Lake, Ashtabula, Trumbull counties, 1997, serves as a community-based corrections facility. So would this maybe potentially be coming from our judges then, recommending this appointment?
Again, I'd have to.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
know
not
who
that
made the
familiar with
recommendation,
NeoCap.
it
It's
just
kind
came
of
to
a-
me from NeoCap.
Yeah.
It's a separate group that helps to determine whether the programs that are being used for alternative to for individuals going to prison are valid programs.
I see. I mean, I'm not, questioning any credibility or anything. I'm just not, I don't even really know what this is,
Yeah.
I make a motion to
Just
table.
it,
Okay.
and I could dig
Okay.
some more into it.
I'll second that.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lenz?
Yes, okay, thank you. All right, Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the letter of engagement with Squire Patton Boggs regarding special obligation sales tax supported bonds, Series 2021, for the county building improvement project. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lenz?
Yes. And the Commissioner's Office requesting the Board approve the creation, title, and job description
Wanna
for the
explain that?
position of fiscal assistant.
This is Adrian.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so I've been here for a few years now and try not to make too many changes too quickly, but it became apparent that there needed to be some additional, steps and positions within the financial part of the Commissioner's office. So this is one that is between who would be our administrative secretary technically, and then the fiscal specialist. So it's a giant leap to go from administrative secretary all the way up to fiscal specialist. So I created an interim position called fiscal assistant, which is nicely placed between those two positions. It allows us to use the person who would normally be sitting in the administrative secretary position to do more fiscal responsibilities and be like an assistant essentially to Debbie.
Mhm.
So that's what this position is going to do, and hopefully provide some incentive too for people to stay and kind of follow, climb up the ladder, and so to speak. And obviously, there's been some turnover in the county, people leaving and going to nearby counties or municipalities. So I'm hoping to kind of create opportunity for people within the county to stay and flourish here instead of having to go other places, so.
Yeah, absolutely, and we discussed it, and I'm sure you
Correct.
explained it to the other commissioners, and I'm total support and agreement with what you're trying to do here and create that. And really, the thing that I liked about the most about it is that the you not only have you created a environment for growth and step up, but also the ability for everyone to be able to kind of do each other's jobs, just in case,
Oh, definitely.
just in case somebody's out, or maybe you're not here, or Debbie or whoever it may be.
Yes.
That they all have a clear understanding of what each other does. 'Cause
Correct.
we do have a very small staff here, but
Yes.
I think it's important to have
And there
that.
has to be some cross training
Yeah.
going on, so
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
definitely.
So
So that kind of, that would take that person in the administrative secretary position or administrative assistant out of that position into kind of a fiscal specialist, but not really a fiscal specialist, so that's why
Mhm.
this fits nicely in
Yep.
between
Yep.
each position.
it's a good strategy for sure.
So I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second?
Right.
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
And so the next one is another position, and one thing that I have seen, at least the person that's currently in our fiscal specialist position, Debbie Ashburn, do is take a much more leadership role in the financial areas, not only in our department, but in other departments, including community and economic development, the Department on Aging, transit. It's soon to be, helping out water resources as well with their transitions. And so Debbie has really taken that on. And in order to give her, I guess, a little more of a title in that capacity for the extra things that she's doing in other departments, I've requested, and I've spoken with all you on this as well, creating a senior fiscal specialist. So to kind of not only provide her with an assistant to help her do some of the stuff around here, to free up some time to help, get some of the other departments up to speed and in shape as well.
Absolutely. So she's been a very much important figure for you to help with the different departments, fiscal
Yes.
specialists,
Correct.
and training them if they're new, and how this office would like to see that information, filtered through this office. Correct. So she's
Yes.
kind of been that go-between all the different departments. Correct.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that we found when this whole turnover started with a lot of the fiscal people
Mhm.
in the county was there were some departments that were way behind on how to track their expenses
Mm-hmm.
and their incomes and all that stuff. So Debbie was very instrumental in the Department on Aging, getting
Mhm.
them up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
Transit as well, when Dwayne Bidlack came in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these departments were still writing everything down on paper in ledgers
Mm-hmm.
instead of using Excel and really utilizing New World.
Start standardizing this.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And she provided them with the resources that they needed to do that
Good.
as well. So, and this is just kind of put her in a position, reward her for that extra responsibility and duties.
But really, it's because she's taking on more responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gone above and beyond the fiscal specialist position and became a senior fiscal
Okay.
specialist. So-
Very good.
Well, I'll make a motion for that, but in addition to that, I'd just like to say that, this has been a big part of your training too, and you're giving people the room to grow and learn. And sometimes, too many times, and I think we've seen this, where, basically, in your position, many times, people just handle what they have to handle and don't, reach out to try to bring people aboard. And I can tell you that, being here 8 years and listening to, the amount of training and the amount of, responses that I even talked to Debbie about it, of how much time you've taken to train people and bring them up to speed and grow these people also is truly part of the success of our team here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I
I'd like to keep
appreciate
it
that.
together
Thank you.
as long as I can, yeah.
Yep.
You're welcome.
So with that, I'll make that motion.
I second the motion.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes. Excellent, okay.
And number 12 is just to include these two new positions on the organizational chart of the Commissioner's office.
Okay.
The old positions will remain on there until such time as we advertise and hire for these two positions.
Mhm.
And then those two positions will be eliminated
Gotcha,
from our organizational chart.
okay.
And 13 and 14 are the advertisement for those two positions, if you want to do all three together.
Yeah, I'll make the motion on all of those.
Okay, so we have a motion on 12, 13, and 14?
Second.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, yes.
All right, and then just a quick announcement, the Commissioner's Office will hold a work session to discuss, no?
Hold on, did you want to go into
Yeah,
executive
let's-
session before you do your work
Yeah, I
session?
wanted to see if we could, yep.
And I'm assuming this is discussing the employment
Mhm.
discipline compensation of public employees?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to have Jim there.
Mr. Flays?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So, do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon?
yes,
Thank you.
all right, so we'll be right back. Okay. Okay. So, we are back from executive session at 10:08 with no action at this time. So we're gonna get into the Commissioner's Office is gonna hold our work session to discuss upcoming organizational meetings. Now, it says January 5th here.
Yes.
That will
that's
be
next
when-
Tuesday.
Okay,
That'll
okay.
be when you officially.
Oh, okay,
This is-
okay.
This is just a prep for that, so
Okay.
everything can basically be in.
So we're just
writing when
gonna
we
get
go
it
through yeah.
somewhat organized for,
Yes.
and then we'll approve it?
And then you
Yeah.
approve it
Yeah,
next.
final
Okay.
approval. So what I have in front of you in your packet is the motion letter from January of this year for the appointments of where you're sitting, what board you're sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath that is will be the org presentation for the 5th of appointing president, vice president, the meeting schedule for 21, and then those board appointments are listed as your staff appointments. The change to this is the addition of the Director of Community Economic Development for Martin Castelletti. He'll start on the 4th, and then he gets reappointed on the 5th. Then Debbie is acting clerk, and then Jerry is acting backup clerk.
He's acting all right.
The resolution designating powers for the county administrator. This is
Yep.
the list of what's currently on there, and obviously the last one is then, it will be the financials again. I know we did it once, but we have to go back and revisit it again. And then, to sign that resolution on the part of it. The highlighted ones are copy charges. They have not been done since 2018. So there's been no change to the dollar amount, so I don't know if you want to do any increase. They're currently 5 cents for black and white, and 20 cents for color up to $1. So like if somebody asks for a public record and it's like one page, at anything up to $1, we don't charge for because it costs more money to process 5 cents
Yeah.
for a payment, for a pay-in. So we set that minimum at $1, and then anything $1 and above, we charge for. The new one that's on here is removing the CD charge of $1 and adding the USB charge of $5, because we can get, USBs are much more easier to do, for public records when we do like large volume.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our new computers don't
Don't
have
even
CD
have
drives.
CD drive, we don't have CD drives anymore,
Okay.
so,
Right.
we would have to do external to do that, so,
Very good.
we changed that over to the USB. I am waiting to hear back from payroll in the county engineer's office on any changes to the compensation for the drainage engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether or not you want to remain Jerry and Nick as your prevailing wage coordinators for next year. So the biggest thing that you guys have to go over is, what board do you want to sit on for,
Okay,
for next year?
okay.
So, I've slimmed it down as much as possible. We don't even have board appointments on here anymore because we've pretty much taken care of.
Everybody's
all
up to
of the-
date?
We have 2 that we have remaining.
Yeah,
So when we move out of work session back into regular session, we can go over these 2 final board appointments that are kind of outstanding.
okay.
Um,
Did you get, not to get off subject, but did you get the, there's a, they're looking for advisory council for NOACA. Did you see that for a new, board appointment they're setting up? Did you get that?
I got something from her. I've gotten so many things from her about next year.
Okay,
They're asking for you, for your advisory council, and then applications. They're
Yeah.
asking for bios and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
on anybody that you would want to appoint.
okay. Because we appointed a few that, didn't attend either, so they're looking for some better attendance. I
Vendor
guess.
attendance.
Yeah. But we can deal with that later. So I guess, I don't know, let's just get into some of these boards then. We'll just kind of knock these out first. Let's start with the ADP board. I've been on that for a while. Jim, I don't know if you want to, if you wanted to be the primary on that one, if you wanted to consider jumping on that, or,
Either that or the Board of Revisions. I mean,
okay.
did you want to stay in the ADP board?
I've been on that for, I don't know how long now, but why don't you can, do both though. We could flip-flop there if you want, unless Ralph, unless
Okay.
you want to do any of those, but,
Yeah.
yeah,
I can concentrate on ADP and the Board of Revisions.
okay, so why don't we flip-flop those?
So, let me
Okay.
ask you,
Yeah,
Jim, if we do Jim for the president, he automatically will do the revisions, right?
No, not
The only-
necessarily.
The
Or wait.
Courthouse Security Advisory Committee, the Financial Review and Report Committee, Policy for Solid Waste, and Health District Advisory Board, and Records Commission are the ones that the board president is required to be the
The
primary.
ones on that list with the star
Yeah.
after 'em.
With the
Yes.
star.
Oh, I
The
see.
single star is the one that the board president is required to be the primary.
Okay.
Right.
The one that has the 2 is that, that revolving loan and local revolving loan appointment is a 2-year term. So that's why that appointment won't change.
I see.
Right. And then, okay, and then community corrections, Ralph, do you want to stay
Yeah,
on that one?
definitely.
Okay. And Jim, alternate. And then, so all 3 commissioners for CIC.
Correct.
Yeah.
Courthouse security, that would be the president, and we'll just say Ralph. And, let's just, I guess maybe to make this easy, do you want to have, nominate Jim Dvorak as board president going into 2021?
That's easy enough. And then
Okay.
I would nominate you as vice chair,
Okay, vice, okay. Okay,
and then I would be just city
Okay.
commissioner.
okay,
Uh,
very good. And then,
No, I understand, no final decisions.
No,
today.
we're just-
gonna
Right.
do that next
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Just a
but
work
I'm
session.
I'm just
Yeah.
writing down what you guys are
No,
saying.
listen, this is good because
Yeah.
it makes it very easy then
So
to work with on the.
family first, I'd like to stay on that one.
Yep, you do a
Okay.
good job with that, Tim.
That's why I left it there.
So we'll leave
Tim
that
as the way
expressed
it
that
is.
to me, so.
And if Jim, if you want to stay as the alternate there.
Mhm.
FRRC, now that one,
Financial Review and Report Committee.
okay.
That'll be Jim.
Jim, okay, and then I'll be the alternate, I guess.
Tim,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Geauga County Agricultural Society, that's all 3 of us. Geauga Trumbull Solid Waste Policy, that would be the president.
Okay.
So
Yep.
the policy committee, yeah,
I'll focus in on that.
I
yeah.
just need an alternate for that.
Let me work on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Geauga Trumbull Solid Waste Board of Directors, that's all 3 commissioners. Health District Advisory Board, right now it's Lennon and Dvorak, but Jim, since you're the president, maybe you should
Yep.
jump into that.
I see the asterisk.
Yeah.
And then, Tim, you want me to put
Sure.
you down as alternate on
Sure.
that? Okay.
Investment Advisory Committee, there's 2
It-
commissioners.
Mainly, it will just move to the way that it's been going, is that it's president and vice president. Is
Okay,
usually how it's just kind of shifted on investment
Okay.
advisory.
all right, so we'll say Jim Dvorak and then Tim Lennon, right?
Mhm.
Microfilming Board, right now is Dvorak and Spitaleri. I can take that over if you want. Jim, if, or, you know, I don't know, how often have you been meeting on that?
Once a year.
Once a year? Okay.
I mean, I'm in the middle of something with
Oh,
that,
all
with
right,
that
stay
group,
on there then.
and
Okay.
then you could be my alternate.
That's fine, that's fine.
And I'll,
Perfect. I'm fine with that. NOACA, 3 commissioners. Our alternates right now are Ralph Spitaleri as Joe Cattell, Tim Lennon as Shane Hajar, and Jim Dvorak as Nick Goris. I'm comfortable with mine.
Me too.
Okay.
So you want to keep those the same?
Yep.
yep.
Okay.
NOCCOG right now.
I'm sorry, just
Yeah.
real quick though, Jim, do you want to keep Steve as your alternate for the subcommittee, the water quality?
Yes.
For all of us.
Steve, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That way you can focus in on
I
that.
don't know if we have to do that in this, but at least still. because
Yeah, I'll ask her
NOACA will
about
probably ask
that.
that question when you start talking to them.
Right.
The only ones that they've mainly asked me about are
Or
these
just their
3
meeting.
positions.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have NOCCOG.
Will you stay as president another year for NOACA?
No, I don't think so. No, it's been a pretty uneventful year for me.
Right.
Being
It's
the
a COVID and
president, we
everything.
haven't really. The biggest thing they worked on was equality, social justice, and equality for the last year. So I really, as far as Geauga County is concerned, I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot there for us there.
Right.
Okay. So I was
I have a
hoping that they would
question,
just roll
gentlemen.
that over for you, for another year, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're ready to move on to another one, I'm sure. So I haven't heard anything about suspending that and rolling it into another year.
Well,
Yes, sir.
Who's going to determine where the electric charging sites are going to go?
That-
decide that, or do you
that-
guys decide?
No, I think from what I understand, and I've heard a couple the presentations in the board meetings on it, and they're looking for public-private partnerships because I guess it's got to be on private property, and it hasn't been determined yet where these things might go. But I think they were looking for suggestions from different communities. It's strictly voluntary, I believe, but there is grant money involved. So I don't know a whole lot more than that, except that they are having in January, I think 15th, some type of a work session with all the different stakeholders, maybe communities that are interested in it. I don't know how much electric charging stations you'd have maybe out in Middlefield or something, maybe, right? I don't know, but maybe Bainbridge is interested in one. That's to be determined, I think. So,
Who's going to pay for it?
well, there's grant money involved. Our federal tax dollars, I'm sure, are part of the equation there. Yeah.
And then a portion from the private
Yeah.
industry
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I do have some more information I can give you in an email, but, that's about as much as I remember right now.
So they're going to make it bigger in the rest of the year. They're going to make a decision in 2021.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
I'm just curious.
And I'll tell you, Howard, to Tim's credit, this year has been just a challenging year with this whole COVID thing, but it's unfortunate that it was the way it is because he was,
Well, I know, 'cause I went to a couple of the
Yeah.
meetings.
and but he's it's unfortunate because he's always been pretty hard nosed to do the right thing, and
Right.
and I'm kind of bummed that we kind of lost a good opportunity this year without that. But I can tell you, he definitely tried to stay in the fight for
I
for
agree
Geauga.
100%.
Yeah.
So
Did
we
anybody
appreciate
go to
that,
the
Tim.
meeting
Thank you.
in December? Has
Yeah.
anybody went to,
Right.
did you all go to the NOACA meeting in December?
Yeah.
Downtown?
Zoom,
Zoom,
the
which
Zoom
is
meeting.
awkward as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoom is worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I appreciate what you did, Tim. And
Yeah, no, I said that
Are
I'm
we
gonna
going to
give
start
us.
Zoom meetings here?
We're not allowed to use Zoom. We're not
Really,
allowed
Zoom
to
is
use
us
Zoom.
zooming in and with
Zooming
our car
out.
and zooming out to the
Thanks,
meetings.
gentlemen. I don't mean to be a smart ass, but.
Why is it disallowed?
The auditor's office and ADP have instructed us that we're not allowed to use Zoom, so they use WebEx.
Yeah, it's different.
They
form.
use, yeah,
Yeah.
ADP uses it all the
Yes,
time.
that's what we're allowed to use is
Not,
WebEx.
just Zoom.
The brand name.
Brand Zoom.
Because of
Oh.
the security,
You're fine.
because of the security issues with the program.
Oh, okay.
So,
So
Okay.
NACOG was where I stopped.
NACOG, right now Jim Dvorak and Tim Lennon is the alternate. Jim, if you,
I want to keep that.
Okay.
I mean, we're in the middle of something. That's
sounds
all.
good, sounds good. Planning Commission Board, this is all three commissioners. Portage Yaga Juvenile Detention Center, that's all three commissioners.
Correct.
And then,
Records Commission, the president is required to be primary,
President.
so I don't know, you want to switch
um,
with Jim and take alternate
sure,
on that?
sure, we can switch there.
And then you and Ralph are on the revolving loan and local revolving loan for 2 years.
Yeah,
2
why don't we
years
keep
limit.
that the
It-
same?
Yeah, it has to stay until next year.
Okay, very good. And then,
That's it.
okay, that's it till January 5th, right? We'll go ahead and approve that.
Yep.
And then, as far as, the meeting schedule for 2021, I did review it. And, some of this is gonna be up in the air, I think, with this COVID thing still, and, whether they're scheduled meetings or special meetings, I don't know how that'll work on some of these boards.
The only thing that I was gonna ask Laura about is adding in a language provision to this regarding WebEx and or
Mhm.
virtual. To
Mhm.
add something in here regarding virtual is the only thing that's not included in this list
Yeah,
about attending some of these meetings, whether they be in person or virtual, something along those lines.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we were gonna have something in here too to make it this room or building 8.
That has to be a separate
Official.
resolution.
Is that, okay. I
Yep,
wasn't
Yeah.
sure
that,
that
that
was
has
part
to
of
be
it.
done by a separate resolution if we're gonna change the location, so we would have to do a separate resolution for that. This is just a regular motion.
I mean,
Because
the
we
big,
Setting.
talked to Laura about setting that up at the beginning, so we didn't have to do it every
Right.
time we were gonna have a meeting.
every time you have a special meeting, or not a
That would-
special
yeah,
meeting,
that
but a
would
change
be
of
building
location,
night,
yeah,
We would be
Right.
able to do that without having to put that out.
right.
This more or less covers like any advance notice and, if anybody, receiving the agenda and, if any additional meetings is required and at time and place designated,
Yeah.
and office holders, department heads, legal counsel, township association, CCAO, and then any other of the meetings that you could possibly be attending where you would be having a quorum is more or less what we're covering the basis on.
Okay,
That allows you then
The-
to be able to attend like celebrations, opening,
and
that kind of stuff.
the one that jumps off here is the, every Tuesday, and we're gonna remain, but we're changing it to 9:30 a.m., correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
And
okay,
then we approved, sorry, Tim, you weren't here last week,
Yeah.
they approved that schedule that's sitting on the
okay,
table,
okay,
of all the meetings
And it's got the
at
days
9:30,
off, the
the
holidays.
days,
Okay.
correct, and the adjustments.
And then we
then-
did the day after Thanksgiving.
Correct.
good,
So
Okay.
it's Just,
sounds good,
That's it.
pretty standard.
But Tim, just to clarify, we're gonna keep you as ADP, and I'm your alternate, and then I'm on the primary for the Board of Revision. Is that how
Correct.
you have it done?
No, I have you as primary
It
on
was
both
switching both.
ADP and Board of Revision, and then Lennon as alternate
Yeah.
on both of those.
Yeah. If
He
you're okay
switched
with
both
that,
of them, if you're okay with that.
Yeah,
unless,
I
unless,
just didn't write it down.
okay.
Okay.
Board of Revision, I liked it, I did, this year I did not so much, because it wasn't, but you learn a lot about what's going on in this county, Board of Revision, you really do, it's
Yeah.
like, it's very interesting, with all the,
I've sat on the other side of the Board of Revision.
Yeah.
When I had
yeah,
some properties that I wanted.
Yep.
And I had to prove and had
yeah,
all that stuff.
that's
so-
a good education, for sure.
Yep.
So, okay,
So if you're done with your work session stuff, do you have any other questions on next Tuesday or, the only thing that's not in front of you is the credit card list, and I will send that to you separately.
okay,
That's approving all of the users for the credit cards and the amount for
okay.
them, I will send that to
And
you
then,
separately.
as far as board appointments, you said we're pretty much caught up on everybody, like,
Yes,
yeah.
I have
Mhm.
2 that are outstanding,
mhm,
but I can't do them in the work session, so
Okay.
we'd have to move out of
All
work
right.
session back into regular session, and then you can
Okay.
take action on those.
okay.
So if you are,
I'm
any
com-
other questions with next Tuesday, are we comfortable
Yep,
with everything?
yep, that looks good.
Okay,
Yep.
then we'll move out of the work session at 10:26 and back into regular session.
okay,
And then the 2 items that I have outstanding were the planning commission.
Yeah, but that,
Reappointment
and
with
I,
Tracy.
and I think that I think that we're gonna probably just wait on that Tracy's, position, and I think we should maybe put that out there for some other people to have an opportunity. He's been there quite a long time, but you know, I'd like to try to bring some people in with some fresh ideas too.
Okay,
Don't you agree,
so-
Tim?
Sure.
Jim, just to be able to put it out there.
Right, let's throw out a net and see what is there,
Okay,
but
so do you want me to-
still,
You know, I mean,
I'm okay
we'll
with
keep
Tracy.
his
Yeah.
application active as
Yep.
he's interested, but
Yep.
you know, let's see what else we get.
Okay,
Okay.
so, do you want to post on the website that we're
Yeah.
accepting applications for
Yep.
planning commission? Okay,
And how many seats are open right
just
now?
one.
One.
They reappointed Dennis Berdansky.
Oh, yeah.
There was 2 appointments up, but Dennis and Tracy were the 2 that were up at the end of the year, and they reappointed Dennis, and the other one was,
Okay.
Ralph wanted to talk to him, so that
Okay.
it was a hold. So, okay, so we will go out to accept applications for a planning commission, and I will get with Linda, and we'll get something
Yeah.
posted.
Okay.
And then, like, talking about that, I'd like us to try to, you know, see for the for next year. As Jerry and I had talked a little bit ago, and we would like to maybe see about the possibility of trying to move forward on, trying to look at options of what we could do to maybe have, someone that we would be able to do as far as maintaining some of our, just with our building going on. I think that there's going to be a lot of new things happening with that. We're going to hopefully attract, new businesses. I think that it's just everything is just kind of coming together with our county and our economic development, and is, I think, going to hopefully move in the right directions. Our planning, our new planning person is seems to be very positive and moving forward. But if we could try to focus to maybe find someone, this year, look at the possibility maybe of creating something in-house that we can have somebody to basically handle, like social media, like Chris is going to be putting this out. But if we could build a strong platform of, someone to be able to build, that whole following of what we have, because really there's no,
The presence, you mean?
yeah, and just to be able to get, to get our, message across and to be able to communicate, let the people know. We've talked about the newsletter. I think that there's still a value to that, because, I just think that there's some things, whether it's an electronic newsletter that people subscribe to, or if it's a virtual newsletter, whatever, whatever. But I think I think we've kind of kicked that can down the road a bunch of times, but I'd like to just see us try to maybe really focus on that, because we need somebody, I feel, that can continue to market some of the programs and some of the things that we're doing in this county.
Do you want to look at like maybe resurrecting like your special projects coordinator position, or like your assistant county administrator position,
Yeah,
or something
I
along those lines?
I think what kind of I've been thinking about on that lines, I brought it to you guys because I haven't completely figured it out yet, but for lack of a better term, like a public information officer that could, not just for the commissioner's office or for the departments under the commissioner's office, but for the whole county.
Yeah.
So,
And offer that
it could be
service.
that person to put that out there and get the information out, however that works, whether it's through news releases, whether it's through a newsletter, whether it's on social media, or
Yeah,
through
our
some-
website,
some
like to
program.
get a
Yeah.
nice website, like Tim always says, the website like in Concord Township is a real nice, site that has a lot of updates and stuff. And I think that listen, we're gonna be in 2021, and I think that we could really try to get something put together that'll give a little more, maybe even having the ability of putting properties that are available for economic development, and sites that are, so stuff that we could do to just help people in the county and help businesses and help
Yeah.
just to do
Somebody
that.
who's there who knows the background, knows how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not relying on our department directors or
Yeah.
employees within the department to be able to
Individually.
do that when they
Yeah.
don't necessarily know all the things.
Yeah, and I think you can piggyback off of some of what our auditor's already kind of started. Like, he's got some stuff that he's doing now for his offices, basically. But
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe something more.
something along those lines, you know, and it, like you said, it doesn't have to be just for the commissioners, it could be for everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, just like that report from the comprehensive plan from the economic department, he said, our weakness is our website.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
because there
yeah.
has to be links to like, okay, I might want to put a business in Geauga County, link to
Mm-hmm.
Dave Favorite's office
Yeah.
and so on and
Yeah,
so forth.
yeah.
I mean, we have
need to
to
look
address
at it.
our weaknesses.
Yeah.
We should probably, with that said, maybe sit down with Chuck and ADP
Yeah,
and talk, start
get with
like
them.
saying, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, there's a couple other areas like that too that I wanna look at in next year, our HR department,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get with more of the
Sure.
other elected officials to provide them extra HR support when it comes to things that they don't necessarily know all
Right.
the background rules and things like that. They're doing the best they can, but they
Mhm.
don't necessarily have that background. So
That's
make
right.
sure that we're getting all that information, because if they don't do something right, it doesn't fall in their department, and them as an elected official, it comes back to the county.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like it.
No, that would be nice to be able to have that availability. I think
Mhm.
it would just, be definitely a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
The
good.
only other appointment that I have up is the airport board, the airport authority board. They recommended, they sent you a recommendation of
Oh.
James Macri Jr. My only concern that I raised to Mr. Dvorak this morning and Jerry was that he is not a current Geauga County resident. He's in the process of building a new home.
He's about 80% done
But
with his
he's
house.
not currently occupied. It looks like occupancy is not expected until March.
But his background, he's got quite a bit of background in is he in business or is he in aviation? I don't know.
He is an executive vice president and partner of a financial group. He just has had an interest in flying since he was 13.
To be quite honest with you, I think that
And
that's
he's originally from Geauga County.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
so
he
he's
grew
coming
up in
back- he's
Chester,
coming
and he's
back home.
currently not living here. He's just in the process of building a new house. So I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that you guys were aware of that
Yeah.
before you.
You know, I wouldn't have a problem with that because
No.
the reality is it's just like Greg Gilstrom brought a lot of value to the organization just with his financial background
Mhm.
of understanding, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about is them being able to organize the money to run the airport.
Yes,
Mhm.
And
he does have a very strong.
so I would make a motion to approve him.
I'll second that.
Commissioner DeWart,
I vote yes.
Commissioner Spudler,
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Okay, this would be for a four-year term, January 21 through
Okay.
December 31st of 24. So I will let Rick know. He's out of the office this week, but I will get him a notification and
Okay.
and go from there. That's it. Those are the only two that I had outstanding, so that leaves us with just one. And the other one is LEPC, but it'll come up in August, so.
Okay. And then,
Oh, yeah. So
I have one last question.
yes, sir.
When are people 80 years and older going to be getting the vaccine for Geauga County?
What have you heard so far?
That is unknown at this time.
When will it be known, Jerry?
Whenever the state releases.
Who will make the decision?
The state will make that when they submit, they decide who's getting vaccines and when.
I believe
Right now,
it
everything's
started.
still focused on the.
First responders.
The first responders. And then I believe the last I heard was that the first group of senior citizens that would be getting it would be those in nursing homes.
Correct.
And in those, what is it, congregate settings.
So basically, you're
So
saying
it's-
nobody knows what's going on.
Right now,
Thank
you
you.
don't know, yeah.
mean,
I had a phone call
I'm
yesterday.
only 80 years of
It's-
age, so
it's-
I'm a
it's-
little concerned.
This is pretty much the same as the way everything else has gone with the coronavirus, is we're waiting on people higher than us to make
Hurry up.
decisions to tell us, and we expect them to come the day before we're supposed to do something about it.
Well, the only word is you gotta stay healthy.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
I understand.
Thank you, gentlemen. I
no,
don't mean
thank
to
you,
be
and thanks
so
for always
full of questions.
supporting us.
yeah.
Well, but these are important things for people my age,
Yeah.
and really for everybody in the county.
Okay.
We can't really worry about too much about what Columbus or even Washington's doing. We have to concern ourselves with the wonderful
Sure.
people that live here
Yeah.
in Geauga County.
I talked to our health commissioner last week, and it sounded like he was anticipating this ramping up pretty quickly. And now, I don't know that time frame, you know, but I would expect probably in the next couple of weeks, you're gonna see a lot more action here in Geauga County.
Great.
Yeah.
So then, the only other thing is we have I'd like to make a motion to have a letter a letter drafted, support letter for Commissioner Dan Polifka from Trumbull County. And we will have that drawn up sometime today.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Okay, I don't know what it's for.
I'll second that motion.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Ware?
Yes.
And also, we'll probably make a little more of a formal, formal
Statement on it.
statement on our, success with our waste
Yeah,
facility maybe next week then?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so.
We can do that? Or-
Yeah, I mean, we can just say that the bids were successfully came in, and we selected a winner.
Yep.
And although we're delayed by, probably a year and a half of getting that process done, it looks like we're finally getting a household hazardous waste facility built in Geauga County up on Merritt Road.
Yep.
And, we've got a budget going to help facilitate that building into the over the next 10 years.
Yep.
So Geauga County will be served equally in this district going forward. So I think it's a pretty big accomplishment. And again, Skip Claypool, prior to me being a commissioner, was really the one who initiated this idea, I think, and trying to get some more action out here in Geauga County other than just some dumpsters dropped off at different locations.
Yeah.
I found something interesting the other day that although Trumbull County is the lion's share of the waste going into the landfills, Geauga County, although it only makes up, 30% of the what goes to the landfills, we're the bigger recycler out of the two counties with about half the population. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So Geauga County is actually doing, basically double the recycling and keeping things out of the landfill out of the two counties. I thought that was an interesting number.
Yeah.
So, I think there's a pent-up demand in Geauga County for this building eventually, and we saw it just last fall with our weekend, I think it was an electronics drive or something.
Right.
I mean, we had to shut it down because it was causing traffic issues on Route 44. There was so much of a demand. So much demand. So,
I think it's going to be a win-win. But
Yeah.
maybe if we can
put out
get
a-
with Jennifer maybe to see if we could have the rendering of that, and then next week if you wanted to
Yeah,
discuss it at our reorg
Yeah.
meeting, and then I think that
it's more of the details of what
Yeah.
it's going to be,
Yeah,
what it's
I'll
going
see
to
if
do.
Jen can come in
yeah.
and,
Yeah. Good idea.
to the meeting.
That's a great idea. Well,
And then,
she might, I don't know if last I checked, she was on quarantine. I think her family came in contact with COVID or something. So I don't know. I don't know if she'd be able
Probably
to.
by the 5th, she'd
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah, she might be okay then.
Should be.
It was
Yeah.
just a really good,
Yeah,
with
yeah. It was a long time coming. I mean, that thing's been out to bid 3 separate times, and there's been a lot of back and forth with Geauga and Trumbull on this issue. And
Yeah.
but we've, with the help of Trumbull County Commissioners, we finally got this approved, and
Yeah.
it's a super positive thing, I think, for Geauga County.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna miss all the dumpsters in the back here, but
They can stay here when we leave.
Yeah, right. So just a couple quick updates. The county offices will be closed for general business in observance of New Year's Day, but 24-hour operations will continue to operate as normal, and that will be the first, Friday the 1st. And then we'll be back on the 5th to approve all this at 9:30 a.m. That'll be our new start times going into 2021.
The Monday, the 11th, Board of Revision scheduled their organizational meeting at 3. They're adding on to that a special meeting following the organizational meeting.
Okay,
So there'll be a back-to-back meeting on
yeah,
that time.
that's usually pretty quick.
Yeah, they have some regular business to take care of.
Yeah,
so.
and that'll be Jim by
Yes.
that time.
Mhm.
Yep, okay.
We'll
Excellent,
update
okay,
from there. I'm waiting for the revised schedule from planning, so.
great. All right, no further business? No?
Motion
You?
to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.